Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 198, recorded back in the home studio after KOH 2023. Woo! We got Chris, we got Lorenzo in the home studio. How you guys doing?
We're done.
Oh, here. I got the hammer lung. I said,
We're great. I'm just recovering from King of the Hammers.
Great. Look at Lorenzo. He's just put on his N95 mask. He's afraid that you got COVID. It's just hammer lung, Lorenzo. You don't have to be afraid. It's just hammer lung.
Valley fever, maybe.
Oh, it could be valley fever. That's worse than COVID.
I know. Maybe I should mask up.
What's that, Lorenzo? Why don't I have hammer lung? Because I drank whiskey. Yeah, that's right. Cut right through that dust.
Yeah.
But apparently not enough.
Maybe not. So, yeah, as Jason said, we're back in the home studio post KOH 2023. It's kind of bittersweet. I'd still like to be on the lakebed, but I'm glad to be home.
I'm glad to be home. Well, there was some weather going through when we left. We got rain going out Boone Road.
Did you wake up in the middle of the night? I mean, that was Sunday night, right?
Sunday night.
So there was at like 2 a.m. The freaking wind started.
It was 2:34 to be exact. Yeah, I had the jacks up because I had hooked up to the trailer and staged, right? So all I had to do was wake up, brush and flush and hit the coffee maker and then head out on the out of the lake bed. And in the middle of the night, so I was up late watching the concert, Chase Beckham. It was freaking awesome. I had to listen to him play 23. But that was super cool. Cold night. I had my heated jacket on and it still wasn't keeping me warm. Anyways, so I went to bed at, I don't know, it was just after midnight. And at 2:34, my camper was shaking so bad the doors were rattling inside my camper.
Oh, my God.
And I woke up like earthquake.
Yeah.
That's immediately what I thought. Earthquake. I didn't know where I was, what was going on, right? And I'm like, holy crap, Batman. And then I go, wait a minute. I'm still in the desert. That's wind. I could hear the wind howling, and I cracked open my window by my bed, and I could just hear the wind howling. I mean, gust.
Oh, it was crazy.
Crazy gust. And I'm like, oh, crap. And like I say, the jacks weren't down, so the camper was shaking like crazy. You were just off the side of me a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I heard raindrops. Yeah. It started raining.
I heard those too.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. Armageddon coming in.
But yeah, that wind woke me up. I'm like, and I thought, but then it just went away.
And then it went away. And then the wind kind of came back. Not as bad gust. And then that morning when I was waking up at 5:30-ish, because we were wheels up at 6.
That's right.
And so it was 5:15-ish, whatever. And it was sprinkling. And I'm like, so when that windstorm first hit, I was like, oh, crap. I've got my empty gas cans and water jugs outside that I'm like, they're going to blow halfway across. They're going to blow over to Dave Cole's property,
Be it hammer or laser time.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, my gosh, I need to get those inside. So I'm like in the middle of the night in my underwear, just throwing freaking, jugs into my camper. And I'm like, oh, this is crap. And then went to sleep for a few more hours, woke up to rain, but it wasn't much.
No, it wasn't much at all. I mean, the sand soil was absorbing it instantaneously.
So I'm like, okay, and made my coffee and finished packing the last few things inside the camper and checked all, make sure everything's hooked up properly, tied down, and let's go. 6 a.m., we were driving away from our camp.
That's right.
And headed out on Boone Road.
Fucking Boone Road.
But fucking Boone Road was good because it was no dust. There was no traffic.
None.
Yeah, we made it out in less than 20 minutes. From all the way in at Hammertown Heights Estates, and hit the highway, and the highway was wet, but it wasn't sprinkling at that point. That was the last bit of rain we got,
and there was no wind.
No wind. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a horrific travel day, is what I was thinking.
Yeah,
when those first gusts were hitting us, I go, oh,
yeah, that's a battle when you have to drive.
But yeah. Not in a Ford, though. It was so fine in the Ford,
But we jumped ahead.
We did.
We jumped way.
We did.
Way.
So that was the end of the Hammers update. So I hope you enjoyed it.
I'm going to hit the rewind
button. Holy smokes. That's fast backwards. Fast backwards? Is that something?
We did the ending first.
Well, there you go. So I arrived on the lakebed Wednesday evening.
That's right.
The week before.
Yeah, the week was it still
Hammers. January
when you got there?
Was it still January? I don't know. Was it still January? I don't know. It's all a blur. So pulled into camp around. It took me 8 hours from San Jose to get there. I made one stop in the Tehachapi's to fuel up and grab a Subway sandwich at the Love's truck stop.
That's a good truck stop.
Love that truck stop.
Travel Center.
Travel Center. Wow. Is that the politically correct way to put it?
It's got two sides. It's got the truck stop, and it's got the regular people side, too.
And the regular people side.
The ones that don't have big rigs.
Wow. Okay. So it was February 1st.
Okay.
It was February 1st. So I was in February. So pulled into camp, and of course, Dolly and Eric were there, Wayne, and there was a handful of people that had Hammertown Heights Estates all roped off there.
Oh, yeah.
Jack was there.
Oh, yeah.
My neighbors. So I just pulled in, got somewhat level, and pulled some stuff out so I could get to my bed, and poured myself a nice stiff glass of whiskey and settled in for the night. That was it. And Dolly had the 20 by 20 tent.
That was nice.
Oh, my God. That was so good. That was set up by the, same rental company that sets up all the pit tents. And so they had it set up with... coffee maker, tables, the kitchen was somewhat set up. So I was like, right on.
Yeah.
And then throughout the week, it grew into full kitchen with a sink, 2 TVs that Tom Rosa set up. So thank you, Tom. We had awesome. Live feed going the whole time.
From Starlink.
Wayne, thank you for Starlink, because he had like up to 42 people on the Starlink at a time. And he was geeking out on that whole thing. It was way above my head, but regardless, we had pretty good, internet in
pretty
our
good
camp.
Internet all week,
and the live feed stream was going flawlessly, which was key. We did that years past, but we had to pay $700-800 for the internet service.
Yep.
So, anyways, I got my. Quick story here. There's many stories, but this one was kind of the low light of my trip. So I pull into camp, have the whiskey, we get it orientated. Everybody, hey, how you doing? Welcome to Hammertown. Great. Go to bed. So the next morning, I'm like, where do I want to camp? Where do I want to set up? For the week.
Yeah, because we're more than a week.
Got a homestead here. We got to find some good properties. So Jack, I gave Jack this spot a couple years ago up on the hill, overlooking, the short course, and you got the race track above you and stuff. And so I'm like,
the Bronco Arch usually.
The Bronco Arch, but that wasn't there this year. So anyways, so I'm like, I kind of like this spot up there, and. You said, save me a good spot. Chris is like, save me a good spot. I'm like, okay, we could get a couple campers in here and get Hot Rod in here with his little RV.
Yep.
The latte machine, because we got to have our lattes in the morning.
That's right.
And so I go, I like this spot up here. And then you dubbed it the retirement community, 50 and over.
That's right.
So I'm like, okay.
The whole camp was a lot of people were over 50, but definitely our corner was definitely 50.
Oh, it was well over 50. I was the young one in that camp, but anyways, our camp, we had over 76 RVs in our camp. We had over 2 acres of land roped off.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so our little retirement community up on the hill was great.
Only thing we were missing was a fire pit of our own. But
we didn't need that. It was fine. I mean, I sat in my chair all of like 45 minutes the entire time that I was there. It was go nonstop. But so I get moved up to this area, backed in, leveled, perfect. I could disconnect to the trailer. I'm like, okay, this is great. And then Ozzy, Justin is banging on my phone, like, hey, we're going to go out. We're going to go pre-run. We're going to go pre-run with Rufus guys and the Wicks. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm like, perfect. So let me just get camp settled. I got the buggy unloaded already. I'll throw a couple tool bags on it and we'll head out. Well, no sooner that I get leveled and trying to set up camp, I open up my refrigerator. And, when you first have your RV traveling down the road, you always go, okay. When you open that refrigerator door after traveling, you're like catcher's mitt trying to catch anything that may have shifted during transit, right? And so I had already done that the night before, and like nothing came out. It was like just reshove some stuff on the shelves and you're good.
Right.
Well, just that little bit of movement, freaking 100 feet away, I go to open up my refrigerator door to put some cream in my coffee, and bottom shelf drops out. Brand new glass jar of pickles shattered on the floor.
Pickles and cream.
No, wait. And then, and then there was coffee creamer. Oh, and blue cheese dressing.
Oh, it's getting better.
Yeah, and then some other thing that fell down, but it didn't break. So I'm like, okay, so I'm dealing with this. And Ozzy calls me up. He goes, hey, we're heading out. And I go, there ain't no way, dude. I got a catastrophe on my hands here. I'm cleaning this up. So it wouldn't be so bad if I just had the linoleum floor in my camper, but I put, a subfloor in, the, laminate vinyl plank wood flooring.
Yep.
So it got in between the plank flooring that I put in and the laminate. And then, of course, it's cream and pickle juice, which like curdles, and it was going to be a disaster, and it was going to smell bad if I didn't clean this up for the 9-10 days that I was on the desert floor. So I went through like a whole roll of paper towels, bleach. I mean, I got everything cleaned up, and then Justin calls me back. He goes, hey, I bought you another hour. Eric Wicks is coming on the lake bed here. We're waiting for him. And I'm like, okay, good.
Perfect.
So I got everything cleaned up enough, and just throwing planks of wood out the back of my camper. And Jack comes over. He goes, what's going on? I go, don't even talk to me right now. I'm just so freaking livid. So I got it to a point where it was cleaned up, let it dry out, went out wheeling. And that turned out to be one of my favorite days wheeling out there, because we hit Thor's Hammer going up, Blue Dot, and Z-Walk. And so we had the Wicks, we had the Rufus guys, and we had Slauson.
Randy Slauson.
Yeah, Randy and Krista Slauson.
His wife.
So, so much fun. Get out there, and it's like trial by fire. Once you unload off the trailer, and then you're hitting some of the hardest trails at Hammers.
And not even easing into
No, not even like, oh, let's go do Turkey Claw, and like, no, this is like, buckle up, Buttercup. We're gonna hit the hardest trails right out of the gate, and rocks were moving everywhere. It was insane, but fun. And so we get up to the top of Z-Walk, and the trail is to the left as you're going up there, coming down it.
So this is Thursday.
This is Thursday, well before the race, right?
Right.
And so there's a line, and Ozzy's trying to go up the racetrack line. They're coming down during the race, but he's trying to go. It's a loose, rocky hillside. He can't make it up. And I'm like, okay, we're turning around. Well, here comes Slauson and Gold Digger.
4-wheel steer.
Yeah, 4-steer coming down. I'm like, what's up? He goes, dude, that waterfall off to the right was crazy. I couldn't make it up. I'm going to send Krista up. And the trail bomber. She's got the maroon trail bomber that she just...
Give it to Christy. Christy will do it.
She drives circles around everybody. She's such a good driver. And so I'm like, okay. So I watch her go up, and she's, boom, makes it up. I'm like, oh, shit. So then Randy's like, well, I got to go up now. So he goes and tries again and makes it up. And then so I get closer to the obstacle, and I'm like, dude, this is not good, because if you miss the line, you're pirouetting off your driver's rear tire, on your lid, on your side. It's gnarly. Uh-huh. So Eric Wicks goes up in his trail bomber, and he's trying all kinds of different lines, gives it a fucking valiant effort, and didn't make it. And then the motor died, and he couldn't get it restarted. His battery was on the fritz.
Oh.
He ended up putting another battery in, and then he was fine after that. But we jumped him. We had a jumper box, and we jumped him, got him started, and he just backed off.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. And so Randy goes, "You going to try it?" And I go, okay, I'll stick my nose in it. But if I don't like it, if it doesn't feel right, I'm pulling out, man.
Wow.
And so I get up there, and I start nosing up into it, and I'm like, okay, this is good. And I was just paying attention. I knew where I wanted to be, where I thought the buggy needed to be. And I got situated, and Randy comes up to me and goes, "You got to get your driver's ass in. You got to get your driver rear tire over a little bit." I'm like, okay, I agree with that. So I reposition, and then he backs off. And I look up the hill, and Krista was quiet this whole time. And I look up there, and I see her, and she's like, just pointing her finger like, "You need to go a little bit driver on the front." So I turn the wheels driver a little bit on the front, and she gives me the okay. Uh-huh. And it's not the send it okay. It's like, okay, crawl it. And that's what they said. They just crawl it. Uh-huh. And I was able to crawl right up, boom, right up to the back of Gold Digger.
Nice.
And I was like, that's freaking badass. And Ozzy didn't even try it. So I know you're listening right now, Ozzy, and you pussed out, but that's okay. Ooh, shots fired.
I got nothing. I can't say shit. So
it was gnarly, dude. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, this is the beginning of the trip. Do I want to freaking, take this chance, roll over at the very beginning of our trip? But I'm like, dude, look who you're with. You're with the Wicks. You're with the Rufus team. You're with Slossons. I mean, you got the A team with you, right?
Right.
It's like you gotta take this opportunity.
Hell yeah. No, for sure. So
yeah. So that was the start of the trip. And then we wheeled Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday into Tuesday.
Yeah.
There was a couple night runs thrown in there. So I got to tell another story. Coming back down that same day, so we all came back down Z-Walk, which incredible trail, by the way, and super cool tribute to Zandy Wilms.
Right.
And it was cool to run it with, people that were close to him. Mm-hmm. That was a special moment. And so then we come down off of that, and Ozzy's got not one but two flat front tires.
I remember you telling me this.
He poked his sidewalls, whatever. So he's got out the
glue
treads. Thank you. And patches up his tires, but he doesn't have air. He's got those stupid CO2 cartridges. Uh-huh. And it's like, I use those on my mountain bike, dude, not on the fucking four-wheeler. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're taking a freaking knife to a gunfight here. And I go, I got a compressor. I got the dual ARB, Uh-huh. I'm like, I'll just air you up. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And all my haste of getting ready for that trail run, I didn't bring my hose and air chuck.
You didn't bring your hose?
So I'm like, does anybody have an air hose? I got a compressor, but I got no hose to hook up to. Nobody had one. So I was like, all right, we're headed back to camp. And it was getting late in the afternoon. I was ready to head back.
It's like monkeys humping a watermelon.
It was pretty much like that. So Eric goes, hey, I'll head back real quick, and then I'll bring the side-by-side back. I can get back in a hurry to where we are. And I'm like, okay. And so we all kind of split off, and then Justin and Chris Wicks were headed over to King's Veto to go pre-run that. Uh-huh. And they go, hey, you want to pre-run that? I'm like, no, I just want to head back to camp. I still got disaster to clean up at my camp.
Because I rolled into that.
Yeah.
Friday morning or afternoon, but yeah.
That was Friday afternoon, but this is still Thursday.
I know.
So I'm like, okay. So I've got Zayden riding with me, this 15-year-old kid from Australia that's never been to the Hammers. And he's like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed going, holy crap, what are we doing here? He did not ride with me up the waterfall. He's like, I'm out. I'm not riding up that. And I'm like, well, you're more than welcome to. He's like, no. And I'm going, okay, well, I get it.
He probably got out a lot faster than I do.
Yeah, probably. He was agile, young kid. So anyway, so we're riding back. So it's just him and I in the buggy, and I'm like following our tracks back. Well, I end up at the top of Thor's Hammer again. And I'm like, do we want to go around the mountain or do we want to go down Thor's Hammer? It's just us, but I'm like, we're within radio contact. The buggy's running great. I'm like, going down, it's not crazy
what could
gnarly.
Possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong? So he goes, yeah, let's just run down it. So I run down it, and then we come across Bailey Cole. He's coming up in the old trail bomber that his dad bought off of Randy's brother.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, what's going on? So we bullshitted for like 10 minutes and talking about, everything. Track, how the course was set up and rocks and this, that, the other thing. And so that was cool. So I go, okay, we're going to head back down. So we head down, and then I come up on the pinch point of Thor's Hammer in the center, and there's Levi Shirley standing there out of his car.
And Linda? The car Linda?
Is that the new car?
Yeah, the new car.
Is the new car called Linda?
The new car's name is
Linda. So Loretta and
Linda.
It's called Linda. Oh, I did not know that.
Oh.
Well, that's interesting.
You learn something new every minute.
I did. Look at you doing your homework.
Yeehaw.
So, but I saw a golf cart in the background. I did not see his car over the horizon. I saw the golf cart, and I go, what are you doing out here in a golf cart? He goes, we're stuck. It's not, or I'm not in the golf cart. And then there's Corey, his co-driver right there, and their winch line snapped.
More than once, he said.
Yeah, so like 3 times they snapped a winch line, and he's got that badass giggle pin winch with the dual motors. I mean, it's like the best winch you could ever have. And he couldn't get out of the situation. So I'm like, what's going on? So I go, hey, I'll, if you want me to hook up to you. He goes, yeah. So I've got that 12,000-pound shitty built Smitty bolt winch.
Yeah, but that thing's
But it grinds, dude. That winch has proven itself over and over again.
It's not failed you in the 3+ years.
It's been great. Knock on wood. So I send down the winch line, hook up to him, and it's dragging me down the hill. I'm up against a rock, and it's pulling the rock and me down the hill.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. So then I get out, and I go down and look, and his rear differential is caught between 2 huge ass rocks. Okay. So it needs to go up to get out because you ain't dragging either one of those boulders forward or backwards. And so they get the jack out and they get the Milwaukee impact on it, and it just stops.
Dead battery?
Like, you need a battery? And he goes, I don't know. And he like shakes it and bangs on it, and it gives a little more, and it's done. So long story short, he ends up getting a crescent wrench out and doing it. And he goes, oh, yeah, shit, this is the Milwaukee with the question mark on it. So, okay. Yeah, that one clearly doesn't work. Why don't you just chuck that one in the trash and go? But anyway, so we had a good time. So long story short, we're there for over an hour. Get the car jacked up, and I go, look, let me see what I got in my bag of tricks, because again, I just threw like tool bags on the back of the buggy and a cooler full of some water and Gatorade and stuff, and I'm like,
that's what you're calling it?
Just run out. Yeah, no, I did. And LaCroix. I was drinking LaCroix that day, blackberry LaCroix. So I look, and I got my snatch block in there.
Oh, good.
I go, hey, I got a snatch block. So as fast as that freaking giggle pin winch is, even doubled up that slows down the line speed. I said, it's still, my winch is going to be slower, but let's double you up off this winch point, and then I'll run my line direct. And so, I don't know. Let's just say his winch it's got to be at least 12,000 pounds, probably 15,000 pound winch. So let's just say 15,000 pounds because it sounds good for the sake of argument. Doubled it up, so that's a 30,000 pound winch plus my 12, so that's 42,000 pounds of pulling force.
Hoping those bolts and anchor points.
Well, that's
solid.
it. And I had my winch line almost out, so I was at my full capacity of 12,000 pounds. And we just barely got him out of that hole, and then he came up. Does a little S-turn. I'm kind of like halfway in the trail, half out. and we're wheeling up the winch line, and then he drives up right next to me and drives over my tire, my 43-inch tire, to get past me, and we're having a good time. It was cool. It was super, super fun. So finally got him out. And I'm like, okay, well, Zayden gets back in and we head back down. I'm like, cool, have a nice day. We'll talk to you later.
Yeehaw.
He goes, yeah, I owe you a podcast now. And I'm like, yeah, you do, because we were supposed to record before this. Now we really need to record. Yep. Unfortunately, we didn't catch up with him before just too much going on. But we will have him on the podcast here shortly.
We have the ability to do remotes.
We do have the ability to do remote, him and Corey.
Technology.
So, so we head back down the rest of the trail, and it's gnarly. I mean, there was some points where it was like, oh shit, we got some serious rock crawling to do, but get off the trail, Thor's hammer, and then motor back to camp. So it's like dust now,
right?
And here I've got this kid from Australia with me, and all the group had already been back at camp, and they're like, where the hell were you? What's going on? I'm like, so I told Zayden, I'm like, here's our story coming back to camp. We rolled over, but we recovered. Everybody's fine, Nice. So we pull into their camp, and they're, wait, what's going on? What's going on? I go, we rolled over, and you guys were nowhere to be. Oh, shit, you know what? I go, no, I'm just kidding. We were fine. We were helping Levi Shirley get unstuck.
Shit.
It was good. So that was day one.
Day one.
All right, you ready for day two now?
Pickle juice on the floor of your
No,
camper.
it got all cleaned up.
So day two, Chris arrives.
And then Chris arrives Friday. And how was your drive down?
Uneventful.
Perfect.
It was just the way I liked it.
How long did it take you?
I don't know, about 8 hours, 7 and a half,
not
8
bad,
hours. Yeah, stopped twice for fuel. And, but I was wheels up out of my driveway at 6 a.m. in Livermore, and bopped my way down there, and just.
And you made 2 stops?
2 stops. I had stopped at where the Stock Ridge Highway comes off of I-5 down below Lost Hills. Filled up at that Chevron for $6.89 a gallon.
Oh, you got to be shitting me!
Well, the station next to it had cheaper fuel, but diesel, but it was that B20. I don't like that stuff.
Well, you got to dodge. So.
I don't like the biodiesel. It's
super finicky. Well, that's what that loves.
Yeah, well, I know. I don't know. I mean, I filled up with biodiesel coming home, and the truck ran fine. But I don't know. It just feels a little different, a little less powerful with biodiesel.
Really?
Maybe I'm wrong, but who knows?
Well, you got to dodge, so you're used to less power.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Whatever. So, but yeah, uneventful drive home or drive to Hammers. I did get hung up at the gate. It was about a 40-minute wait coming in.
So that's what you said. That's interesting.
Yeah, that was Friday, around 2:00, something like that.
Yeah.
And I come around the corner. I get on a Boone Road, and I'm like, yeah, Boone Road.
Boone Road.
I'm almost there. And I'm bopping along Boone Road, and I'm talking to you on the ham and telling you I'm on Boone Road, and then I'm stopped on Boone Road, and I was still about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile from the gate. But once I got to the gate, they separated us out. Excuse me. I was media, so I went off to the right, and the regular spectator people were off to the left. So I went in there, got my wristband, boom, 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 signed my name somewhere, and got back in the truck, drove to camp, and nobody was around. Nobody was around at all.
Nobody.
I mean, there was a few people kind of. Dolly and Eric were nowhere to be seen, and you weren't there, but I saw where your rig was, and I kind of got out.
Well, I told you we had communication where to camp,
so scoped it out a little bit, and then backed in, got my shit squared away.
And you blocked my view of Hammertown.
Blocked your view of Hammertown out the side window, but whatever. Then you blocked my view a week later, but whatever.
Oh yeah, for one night that was so fucking stormy. Okay, whatever.
So it was, so Friday for me was just a travel day and a setup day.
Which is good. So we were wheeling again, pre-running on Friday, and then I don't know. We ran Jack and Upper Jack and Jack North. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. Just pre-running those trails early in the race is just so much fun. I love that. And then getting to watch it on race day,
Yeah.
But then, so Saturday
Well, wait a
was.
minute.
Oh,
Wait,
what happened Friday night?
Friday night.
Friday night.
Oh, so yeah, we get all settled in, and we're all on our own for dinner, right? And,
Oh yeah.
But we were going to do an interview on Friday night.
Yes, we were.
Who was it?
It was Miles Hasselquist.
Miles Hasselquist. That episode has dropped.
So that's right. So we had this set up, and finally, all these times trying to connect with Miles, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it Friday night." And I'm like, "Okay, great." So
we had dinner.
We did. We had dinner and everything, and then Ultra Fort Jones was in our camp.
That's right.
And I said, "Hey, we got an interview with Miles," and he had his whiskey runner.
Oh, that's right.
The crew cab F
gas
250, 350, whatever, that went up claw hammer. He's driven it down to hammers twice now.
It's boat sided now.
Yeah, boat sided, the Minnesota boat sides. And I'm like, let's go pick up Miles. He goes, okay. So Kevin and I run back to Hammertown, pick up Miles
after the drivers meeting.
Yeah, after the
trophy trucks.
Yeah, it was the trophy truck drivers meeting that night. And so what was it, like 7:30, 8 o'clock, whatever. And so we pick him up, and I said, look for a clapped out F-350 crew cab, white crew cab. So he was right at gate 3. We pick him up, and Miles knew Ultra Fort Jones, and he's like, hey, what's up? And climbs up in the truck and head back to camp. And then you had all the gear set up, so we hopped in your camper and
that's right,
recorded a fun podcast, which I'm sure most of you have already heard. If you haven't, you need to go back. That was super cool.
Oh yeah,
hanging out with Miles and
the voice of Ultra Fort and King of the Hammers.
It up with him, yeah. So yeah, that was our first interview to kick off the week, which was
a great way to start.
Ultra fun. Ultra fun.
You know what I was thinking about too after that, and then we had a couple of other great interviews that we did in the camper. I mean, that thing did double duty. It was my home for the week and also our remote studio, which is not unusual for us. But I need to get a signature wall on that thing. I mean,
that would have been cool.
Sign my camper, and then whoever buys my camper at some point in the future be like, who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, that would have been cool. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Anyway, next time.
That's a good idea. We should have. It doesn't have to be a wall. It could be a board. That we have signed.
Well, look at you got Cody with Lasertown. Everybody signs that door for his container home.
Yeah, his container door.
So,
that would be cool. Well, shit, that was a good idea. You should have had about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, no shit.
Could have had that set up, but
so Miles, we need you to send.
Yeah, we'll have you circle back and sign, but. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Little bit of whiskey drinking there. He was drinking his beer, and we had some good conversations.
Oh, great time.
Couldn't pin him down on who was going to win the race, but he was Switzerland on that whole thing. But that's good. So, and then Saturday morning we wake up to helicopters, right?
Oh yeah,
Flying
trophy truck
for
day.
The trophy truck day.
That was just the
prologue and everything.
Smell of race gas.
Beautiful day. Yep. And we went out, had breakfast, and then went out wheeling again that day. The DFF Fab crew was there.
That's right.
Unfortunately, Carlos was not there, and Uncle Ed. We missed them dearly, but we got out and had a good time wheeling with Anthony and Pryor and them. And then Rec Gear came into camp.
That's right, Bronson and Jess.
So Bronson and Jess, we met up with them and talked with them. And then, of course, Sunday morning, so Saturday night was burger night that the DFF Fab crew did. Oh, my God, that was so good.
Was it?
So with our tent.
I didn't do the meal plan.
Yeah, so. Our tent worked out so well. Cooking in there, you had indoor dining if it was nasty. We had outdoor dining when it was nice. But yeah, burger night just kicks off the trip and was so freaking good. Monster burgers. So thank you guys for cranking that out. And then Sunday morning, we get up, breakfast, and was our listener subscriber / listener run.
That's right.
With Rec Gear.
Out at
Bronson and Jess at Turkey Claw at 10 a.m.
That's right.
So we met out there, and the night before we were talking with them and go, oh, this, we're expecting like 20, 25 rigs or whatever.
Right.
And 50 fucking rigs showed up. The 46 was the official count, and then more showed up. But that was fun. Handed out, stickers.
Lots of stickers.
Bronson and Jess were handing out stickers, and we're like, hey, this is the meetup portion, to keep everything clean. And we're going to go run Turkey Claw, and you're on your own at this point,
We're just going to go up this trail.
We're just gonna
if
go
you
up this
happen to
trail right
follow
here.
us, then that's on you.
And it was super cool. We had a lot of cool rigs.
A lot of buggies.
Kevin and Caitlin was there from Utah that we got to interview at Trail Hero. Eric Wicks was there and his trail bomber, Ozzy. We had another rock crawler there. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I mean, it was just
the guy with the veterans one.
Yeah.
That was there were several.
That was a
badass
four steer buggy. Yeah, and then Matt Black was there from Drag Axles Batter. So yeah, this guy's wearing the sweatshirt. Drag Axles Matter, and I saw that on IG a few weeks before, and I'm like, oh, that's freaking great. I got to get one of those because I got a drag axle. And,
right.
We're not this four-steer buggy crowd, but it was, so I go up and I'm like, hey, I love your, sweatshirt. And I saw it online and we get to talking. He goes, yeah, that's my company. I'm like, oh, no shit. And I'm Matt Black. I'm like, well, I'm Jason Green.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty funny. So I'm like, dude, we got to collaborate. I'd love to promote your brand. I love that. Drag Axles Matter because, most of my buddies are all drag axle cars, and we make it happen out there on the trail. So super cool. And then so we're heading up the trail, and I got this Toyota in front of me that has a clamped off. You were riding with me.
Yeah, I was riding with you.
You were right seat. And there was a clamped off,
raisined up Toyota
brake line because, lost a brake on the driver rear caliper there. And then next thing we go, oh shit, the caliper's like spinning in the wheel.
Yeah, he broke a bunch of stuff.
So I jump out and I go up to him and I'm like, dude, your caliper's like hanging there. You need to get it off. And he's like, oh shit, okay. And that was Tommy Thompson _89. Yeah, Yoda brake rotor. That's what I have in my notes. See, I take notes once in a while.
Perfect.
So yeah. He got that off and then it's fine. So he was 3 braking uphill. No big deal.
Well,
it's Toyota things. #Toyota things.
Right. Just gonna send.
And then there was a Jeep up ahead that was stuck, that was kind of holding up trail on us. That wasn't part of our group, but became part of our group. But after that, I mean, it flowed, and people were taking, biting off as much as they wanted. Take hard lines. I tried a couple crazy, rock lines, and had some fun. I had to hook up to one Toyota that was trying one of the harder rock lines and back him off. He had a rear winch.
His rear drive line was munched.
Yeah, it was up against that rock.
She gone.
I don't think it was gone.
Oh no, it was gone.
Oh, it was gone.
Oh,
and that was why. Okay,
he had no rear drive line.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But so we got up and we got around the corner and just hung out and just bullshit. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was a great freaking morning / afternoon hanging out with everybody. So if you were out there, we greatly appreciate it. It was a ton of fun.
It was
huge. Great meeting people and. It really underscored that, Bronson and Jess are in front of the camera, so they're very recognizable. Our voices are recognizable through the podcast, but not our faces because we have faces for radio.
Right.
But anyways, they're like, dude, you got to do a YouTube channel and get out there. And I'm like, oh, crap, here we go. We'll see. We'll see if that's on the horizon or not. But
I don't know.
It was fun. It was fun nonetheless, and loved it. So that's Sunday. Oh man, we got a lot to go here.
We headed back to camp, and the wind was starting.
Oh yeah, the wind came up Sunday.
Sunday was the first day of W.
Boy, the big dub. Oof. Man, it blew like a son. I heard like 80-mile-an-hour gust. Is that right?
I don't think not near our
79.
camp, There was some gusts that probably broke 40, 50.
I heard over 50 for sure.
Maybe on the peaks.
I don't know. But it was blowing.
Dust everywhere. At that point, I just...
Everybody hunkered down that night. Yeah. It was like a ghost town. Tumbleweeds were rolling through camp.
We cooked dinner in the campers, and you and I ate dinner in my camper, and just kind of...
So that was supposed to be pizza night in our camp, which is a big night.
Right.
Dolly rolls that out, Amber's mom, and Dolly texted me and says, "No pizza tonight. We're doing like one pot chili or stew or something, and pasta or something, just something simple. We're not doing pizza night tonight." So everybody got the memo, and it's like kind of like, hey, if you want chili, come on in the tent. If not, cook your own. So we ended up, you and I cooked our own meal.
That's right.
And we hung out in the camper, and we were sitting in the camper. And the camper was shaking so much with the jacks down, mind you, that I felt like I was on an airplane because my wine glass was shaking around and the wine in the glass was shaking around. Right. I'm like, holy crap, this is insane.
Yeah, it was
wild. And thank God Johnny was back in San Diego.
Oh, that's right.
Because he had a tent set up right behind us.
We should have taken video of
that.
I
told John, I'm like, dude, I don't know if your tent's going to make it through the night. He had a rock down. He had some Portuguese freaking rock work going on there, rock wall around his tent. But
major excavation.
Yeah, I'm like, I kept looking out, and I'm like, dude, this thing's gonna fucking blow away.
Dude, at one point I looked out the window, and the thing was like almost
totally
flat.
Oh yeah.
Every time the wind would let up, it'd spring back.
Oh yeah. Up. So I'm like, dude, if you were here during that night, you would have been sleeping on my couch because there is no way you were sleeping in that tent.
No.
But it survived, and it was fine. I mean, it had like 6 inches of sand inside after that, but other than that, it was fine. So, yeah, hashtag no tents at KOH.
That's
but,
right. Tents are no bueno.
We survived the night, wake up Monday morning, and birds are chirping, and it's freaking colder than a... well digger's asshole at that point. And so get up and breakfast is served. Breakfast was early every morning in our camp. It used to be brunch.
Yeah.
And I don't know who started this early breakfast thing because it would be like we would eat around 9, earliest would be 9:30, typically 10 would be brunch. A nice big brunch, breakfast, lunch, and then, you were on your own for some snacks at lunch and then come back for dinner at camp. No, it was like by 8 a.m., if you weren't eating by 8, you were eating cold leftovers.
You'd be eating in your camper.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? So I get down there and scrounge up the last bit of bacon and stuff and had breakfast and, of course, went out wheeling again because that's what we do.
Yep.
When you're at the Hammers early week there, and Monday, Tuesday, not much going on.
Just qualifying at that point.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So there was Monday, not so much, but yeah, Tuesday was a UTV qualifying and all that. But yeah, I don't know. We what was Monday night dinner?
I don't remember.
Did we
meal plan?
I know. I think we changed stuff around, so we ended up doing pizza.
You guys did Monday night.
Monday night was us. That was the pulled chicken.
Pulled chicken.
Oh yeah. So we had pulled chicken with King Hawaiian rolls. Yeah, sliders, coleslaw, homemade mac salad that Kenny Alger and I made that morning. Mm-hmm. So that was it. We right after breakfast we made that.
After I brought you replacements.
You had to bring replacements
pickles.
Because all my shit was on the floor of the camper. That was a shit show. God, what a mess. And Lorenzo didn't do anything to help clean up. I don't know. Yeah.
He just turned his nose up.
He ran away. He was like, not my problem. And ran away. I'm like, thanks, Lorenzo, for nothing. So yeah, we had we had Haagen-Dazs Kirkland, but the Haagen-Dazs-esque ice cream bars essentially that night for dessert.
I missed out on those.
Oh fuck, that was good. And the fire. So we had the big, big Stonehenge fire pit going every night, and there was some smudge pots going as well in camp. So
right.
it was cold. It was cold. I'm not going to lie. There was some cold mornings, cold nights.
Yeah, and the temperature dropped fast.
Yeah, and those first couple nights, it was cold. And, I ran my heater the first couple nights, and it was like, oh, man, this thing would like run and then kick off, and it would be off for like 5 minutes and then restart. And I'm like, ooh, it's cold outside.
Yep.
So then I fired up my little buddy heater to take the chill off, and then that helped things a little bit.
My first night in camp, my furnace didn't work.
Your furnace wasn't working, so you're like, dude, my furnace, it went off, and your camper was what inside?
I woke up at 2 a.m. to take a leak, and it was 40 degrees inside my camper. I'm like, I was pretty warm in my bed, but I could feel a little chill coming through. But when I threw the covers off, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, 40's a little chilly, really.
I know, I had a couple things to drink that night, but I remember when I went to bed, I turned the furnace on and set it at 55.
Yeah, just to take the chill off.
Keep the chill off.
Hashtag landslide.
Like, it shouldn't have been 40. I'm like, why is my camper so cold?
So that next morning, you're like, dude, my heater's not working. And I'm like, all right. And I had all my DeWalt tools, so I'm like, okay, I'll zip off your
hashtag
cover.
DeWalt.
Yeah, hashtag DeWalt tools. And so I zip off your cover, and there's a reset button in there.
Yeah.
So I hit the reset button. I checked everything else. Everything else looked good, clean, no loose connections. And I said, try it again. And then it kicked off. So I don't know why, but it had to be reset.
Yeah,
so
5 years I've owned that thing. I've never had to dick with anything behind that cover outside. So whatever. I'm glad it worked flawlessly for the rest of the week.
Yeah,
so.
Lorenzo fixed it. He hit the reset button. You can thank Lorenzo.
Yeah. So anyway, just so this is
So that was Monday night. So now Tuesday morning. Would anything Tuesday significant? I'm trying to look through my notes here. I don't see anything significant. Went out wheeling again. Surprise, surprise.
Wheeling again at King of the Hammers.
And then I think...
at one point we had checked in with media.
So we went to media. That was Monday.
That was Monday.
I think that was Monday. We checked in with
actually,
media.
It was Saturday or...
No, it was Sunday. Sunday or Monday? I don't know. We went
one of those days.
We went to the driver's meeting or the meeting for media, and then we got our vest and all that stuff.
Our wristband.
Yeah. Emily Miller's great. Very welcoming.
The whole staff in there is awesome.
What's the other gal that runs the desk?
Christy?
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah. Everybody's really awesome.
Great.
The only thing that was different this year than in the past is they did not have... The media tent was not heated this year.
Not heated, and the internet sucked ass.
Yeah, I don't know what was
It
up
worked
with
the
that.
first couple days, and then it went to shit.
Yeah, and everybody was complaining.
And every time I went in there, and I'm like, hey, the internet's not working. And they're like, yeah, we're having issues. And I'm like, and I think it was all Starlink, like high-end Starlink stuff, but it wasn't working. But our Starlink in our camp was working great.
Must have been the angle of the dangle.
I don't know. And so Wayne had us hooked up, and I was like, right on. And then Austin from iRate 4x4 hooked me up for Amber's Every Woman Challenge Day.
That's right.
I'm like, I was having some problems, and Wayne was giving me full bandwidth, but for some reason my IG wasn't working. And then as soon as I hooked up to Austin's from iRate 4x4, it freaking was awesome. It was like being at home. It was incredible out in the middle of the desert and having that kind of speed, internet speed. It was like, wow.
Yeah. Oh no. There were thousands of Starlinks on that lakebed. I estimate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, but
it was working, and so it's going to be bigger and better next year that network, but.
I also want to say that cellular service, if you had Verizon, was actually much better this year.
It was pretty consistent the entire time. It dropped out a few times,
times
overall.
But I had 5G
ridiculously good
that worked mostly all week.
Not LTE?
No, 5G.
Oh, is that better than LTE?
Yeah, it's way better.
Oh, is it?
More
I don't
better.
know.
It's more better.
My phone never says 5G. It just says LTE.
Your phone's not as cool as mine.
Well, maybe it's a Dodge phone that I have.
Oh,
That's
fuck.
why.
Yeah, there you go. Wow. Fuck. But we heard that Verizon installed a new tower
They did
earlier in the year.
And it was definitely working well down there.
So the telecommunications, the infrastructure, the permanent infrastructure in that area is definitely adapting to the King of the Hammers. Trend that's occurring that happens out there once a year. So the first years that we went, it was like after the midweek, it was a dead zone. And before we had media credentials, it was like you're just out of touch. You couldn't communicate.
you were donesy.
So
so Tuesday, great. Did we have pizza that night? Kind of think we did. God, it's such a blur.
In the week.
Was it Wednesday?
Might have been.
I don't know. We pushed everything back a night because we skipped that. But
I know Tuesday was the day that we started having product down in the sharing space at the Morphlate tent.
Yeah, so thank you, Tyler Morphlate, for letting us peddle our Element fire extinguishers.
Element fire extinguishers.
Oh, yeah, so let's back up a little bit. Let's back up. We forgot about this. Yeah, back up the bus.
Okay.
Who did we meet on Saturday, Chris? Saturday morning.
Rob Calisi.
Yeah, so we met Rob Calisi, the owner of Stelvio Brands, who represents Element Fire Extinguisher.
Fire extinguishers, exactly.
His first time at KOH. He's a Canadian, eh?
Eye-opener.
Yeah, so we met him. It's like, where did we meet? Okay, so everybody can find the fire pit and the stage at Hammertown. Right. So we'll meet you in between the stage and the fire pit. So we go over there at our set time, and there's a couple hundred people out there because the T1 prologue race is going on. Watch people watching the jumbotron and stuff, and we look over and there's this guy in full Element gear. That must be Rob. Sure as shit, it's Rob. So that was super cool. We got to hang out and show Rob around, get him orientated with all the chaos at KOH.
That's right.
Kind of gave him the lay of the land of where the pits are and vendors, and obviously the fire pit and stage where the main hub of the operation is. And then we walked him back to our camp.
That's right.
And showed him our operation. And then, we sat down, talked a little bit of business about Element, and, talked about the Harry Wagner video.
That's right.
That went out and the Element didn't work so well in that video.
Not
and why.
Right.
And so basically he said, hey, it was like a midget fighting Mike Tyson, There was the fire. It was the biggest fire. That was the fifth fire that they had in that, scenario, if you will. But it was a tub filled with tar paper, and then they kept splashing gas and diesel on it. And so it became hotter and hotter, and there was embers in there, and it just got to a point. So, it's not the perfect fire extinguisher. There's no perfect fire extinguisher, but there's places where it shines better than a powder fire extinguisher, and vice versa. So, good conversation with him and talking about all that. Made sense, and so I'm putting him and Harry Wagner in touch with each other to discuss that, because like Harry said, he goes, hey, I'm not here to shit on somebody's product, I want to know what's going on, and I have them in my vehicle, and I want to know why it works or why it doesn't work. And so but I mean, it definitely has its place, and there's a lot of positives about it. Is it the end all fire extinguisher? No. But it's definitely something that you want to carry on your rig.
Something you want in your toolbox.
One of your, basically two fire extinguishers you should have. You should have a powder, and you should have the element on board. And then, there's all kinds of benefits of the element, not expiring and non-corrosive, and it works on ABC and K fires, and, it lasts 50 seconds as opposed to 5 to 8 seconds. So, it goes on and on. So
it's compact.
Yeah. And it's an incipient fire is what he said, right?
Correct.
He kept saying that over and over again. So
early stages.
Whatever you can get, whatever fire extinguisher is in your hand to get on that fire as soon as it starts is going to be your best friend.
Correct.
And that's the moral of the story. So, the element's nice, compact. You can keep it on a roll bar, roll cage close to you.
Door pocket, center console, whatever.
Exactly. So that was the takeaway of all that. And we'll get into more detail and probably have him on the podcast more to talk about that. But so anyways, that was a great conversation.
Yep.
And getting to meet him in person. We'd interviewed him a while back and obviously had several phone conversations, but to meet face to face. And it was interesting because, his world he lives in is sustained 200 miles an hour.
Correct.
Where our world is 2 miles an hour over rocks and then the Ultra 4 racing, obviously, going 22 miles an hour over rocks, but it was cool. Okay, so back to Wednesday. Wednesday. Should we go to Wednesday? I don't know.
Well, at some point we had another interview.
Oh, we did. When did we interview that individual?
That might have been Tuesday.
Was that Tuesday?
I think so.
Who was that? What was his name? It was another Canadian guy.
Yeah.
Right? From Canada?
Last name
But he
Johnson.
doesn't live there anymore?
No.
Okay.
Johnson?
Larry Johnson?
No, I believe it's Ian.
Ian Johnson with the spiky hair.
That's right.
So we had, I had been trying to get this interview, and we talked to him at SEMA.
Numerous times.
Talked to him at Trail Hero, and we numerous times at KOH over the years. And it's like, dude, we got to get you on the podcast. You're a whiskey guy.
Yep.
Obviously, you're a wheeling guy.
Yep.
He's not too much into wine, but
fabricator.
Yeah.
All those great
I'm like,
things.
it's good. This has got to happen. So we kept, setting up stuff, and then it didn't materialize. And so finally it materialized, this event.
Oh yeah. Did it ever?
He's like, okay, I got to call, I'm announcing. And then once I'm done announcing, I'm available. And I'm like, okay, great. So he texts me and goes, hey, I'm in the media tent in Hammertown.
And I was in the booth selling extinguishers.
Yeah. And so I text you and I go, dude, it's going down right now. Get your ass up to camp. And so actually you met us at the media tent.
Right.
So Ian was in the media tent talking with some people, and I was hanging out, and then you walked in, and then he turns around and he goes, okay, guys, you want to do this? And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this.
Hell yeah.
So you ran up to camp.
Yeah, well, you want to call it that?
I don't know. Did you run? Did you walk? Did you fast
waddle?
pace? So then Ian and I walked up. And it was so funny walking from Hammertown up to our camp, which isn't that far. It's like an 8-10 minute walk, if that. And, you're just walking up the aisles there, the roads, if you will, in between camps. And everybody's like, Ian, hey, man, love your show. What are you doing with your bug? And, just celebrity status, right?
Yeah.
And so it was funny. And then we get into our camp, and then of course people in our camp are like, "Oh my God, Ian Johnson's here in camp."
That's right.
And it was cool. He's a super cool guy.
He can talk to anybody.
And so he's just the regular guy has a passion for off-roading and fabricating and stuff, and just because he's in front of a camera, just what he does. And so I brought him into my camper, and I said, "Okay, what do you want to drink? We got a little bit of selection here. There's like
Just
12 bottles on my counter,
right?"
And I said, "Do you want some rye?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I got the Frey Ranch rye here and the Smoke Wagon rye." And he goes, "Okay." So we did a little tasting and BSing in there, and then we walked over to your camper. You had everything set up, and
That's
then.
Right.
you got to sit down with him for a while I was getting situated, and
we had a good chat.
Yeah, and so super cool. And then we recorded a podcast with him for a little over 2 hours.
Oh yeah, so much good stuff.
Such good content, and so much fun. And like we say, you know, we're not unscripted, so. As our followers know, you know, we just roll with it and go down all these rabbit trails and stuff, and that's what we did with Ian. And there was some great stories that came out.
Oh my God!
And we're sitting there and just I'm shaking my head, drinking my whiskey, going, "Is this really happening right now?"
I know.
It's kind of surreal, right?
I'm sitting in my camper with Jason, you, and Ian Johnson.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Jason, you, and Ian Johnson.
Well, I mean, Jason, meaning you.
Yeah.
And Ian Johnson. And I'm like, I'm just kind of like, in all my realities, I never thought that I'd have Ian Johnson sitting
in your camper. Yeah. Recording a podcast, right? I know. It's crazy.
But it's super cool. And then what's even cooler is like a day later, I'm walking through Hammertown and Ian's walking towards me. He's like, "Hey, Chris, what's up?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, Ian, how you doing?" We shook hands. We chatted for a couple minutes, and then I kept wandering away, and then who's next in line is Randy Slauson.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I say, "Hey,
Randy
Randy
motherfucking Slauson."
Randy motherfucking Slauson. So I walk up to Randy. "Hey, Randy, how you doing?" "Hey, Chris, what's going on?" I'm like, "This is so weird."
It is. It is. It's these people that we, you know, look up to. You looked up to before and look up to now, and then to be able to rub elbows with them is pretty freaking cool.
It is.
It's humbling. It's really humbling. But yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And did we decide we're going to release that as our 200th episode?
I don't know. Maybe.
Should we?
I think so.
I think so. Yeah. It's worthy of 200.
Absolutely.
So I think 201 will be like our, you know, what do you want to call, like the best of or whatever. We'll figure out some kind of. Maybe invite some people over, but that'll 201 will be our celebration of our 200 episode, and it's really over 200 because we've had bonus and stuff. Yeah. But I think, you know, Slauson was our 99th episode, so, you know, why not have Ian Johnson as our 200th, because that was a fun time, a big get,
absolutely,
and well known in the industry, and yeah, why not?
Why not?
Okay, we run the show. We can. Lorenzo, what did
he do?
He's like, oh, he's okay in it.
Okay, well,
he's giving the nod. He's like, you know what? That's one of your better ideas. Okay, thanks, Lorenzo. Well, that's good. Hey, all right. So, God, we haven't had sound effects in like 20 episodes. That's pretty good. We got the crowd here tonight. Wow. We are professional podcasters here, PRO professionals.
Live studio audience.
Wow. All right. So where are we at now? I don't even know. We were on Wednesday and you kept going back on me. I'm skipping stuff.
A few things. So we're back to Wednesday. I mean, we're going to. There's so much, man. There was so much between the wheeling you did, the wandering around I did, the time I spent in the booth, the constantly eating, trying to explore Hammertown, getting into the pits, watching as much racing or qualifying as we possibly could. But I mean, it was simple. Watching the qualifying was simpler because of the streaming in camp.
So Tuesday night we went to AOP, MAO, whatever the Robinets.
That's right.
Robinettes.
Right.
Hosted a driver's meeting or driver's dinner.
It was.
I guess it was officially driver's dinner.
Appreciation
dinner. Driver's appreciation dinner.
That's right.
And so we
had their own jumbotron.
We snuck in the back door.
Yep.
Anyways, go to the fire pit. I look over my right shoulder. There's Lauren Healy.
Yep.
You know, and then the pit guys roll up on us. So we talked to the pit guys. Trail Haunter came over, talked to her.
Yep.
We go up to, they had an open bar. We didn't eat, you know, they had dinner there, but we didn't eat. We just were there to hang out. Yeah. And we go up to the bar, grab what did we grab? I grabbed a Jack and Coke.
I didn't grab anything.
Oh, you didn't?
Nope.
Look at you. You were sober.
I was just not partaking,
not drinking
that event.
So I was like, okay, I got to have a Jack and Coke. I haven't had Jack and Coke in a while. And turn around, there's Shannon and Jess.
Yeah, we talked with Shannon and Jess for a while.
We BS'd with them for a few minutes. That was cool. Anyways, it was freaking cool just to hang out.
Saw JT
Taylor. We talked to him. We had him on the podcast, and so that was fun catching up with him. And so then, they have a huge jumbotron. So the shootout, the shootout was being played on that. So we could watch the shootout, hang out at the fire pits, talk with people. It was super cool evening. And then we headed back to our camp because Ultra 3 is going on that night.
Ultra 3. I was there for about an hour.
Oh, my gosh. It was packed. And the people there, I mean, it's the who's who. It is so much fun.
Just one party after another.
Everybody comes to Ultra 3. It's like that. It's kind of like a speakeasy. I mean, it's like about it and you can get in, but it's like if you don't know about it, you're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, you got to know.
You got to know about it. And the Ultra 3 race is so cool. So Boston Kyle ended up winning again.
I saw that.
So hanging out with Boston Kyle, and then you're just bumping through the crowd. There was an Easter bunny there. I don't know who was in the Easter bunny costume, but Big Pete got a picture with the Easter bunny, and Big Pete's like, I don't know, what is he, 7'7" or something? No. He's like ridiculously tall, 6'8". I don't know what Pete is, but he's super tall, and standing next to this Easter bunny was hilarious. I mean,
the cage going again.
Oh my God, they were in the cage. And then they had grudge matches going late into the evening. Mm-hmm. Of course, the fire's going there, the fireworks, and it's just
the flamethrower at the top. I mean,
it's such a freaking cool deal.
It's overload.
It's taken on a life of its own, and it's super fun to.
And it was mere feet from our camp.
It's right across the street from our camp. They're our neighbors. They're our fun neighbors. And so we it's all HOA up there, and it's very exclusive. And if you leave your garbage cans out, you get a fine and stuff. But we let them have that party once a year. It's just known. So we tell all the cops and everything, hey, don't bother them. This is the one party of the year that we allow in that HOA.
They get their pass, hall pass.
Yeah, right. So okay, so now back to Wednesday that we've been trying to get to. I have no idea. What was Wednesday?
We're qualifying. You probably went wheeling.
I went wheeling again a little bit. We did a night run in there somewhere. I think Wednesday night we did a night run.
I didn't go.
But Wednesday I was kind of hanging out in camp and relaxing. We went into Hammertown. I never walked through all the vendors. Never did.
You came to the booth.
I went to the booth. I went directly to the booth and back, and booth and back. I never went. I said hi to the Dang Brothers guys, Kevin and them there. We're going to have them on the podcast too. They're fun. But I never walked the official vendor.
What's wrong with
pass
you,
rows? It was busy.
Yeah.
It was busy.
You were in the
making
pits a
connection.
lot?
I was in the pits a lot. I went over to the Millers there, Miller Motorsports there, Derek and Megan, and then kind of kitty corner from them was Aaron Smith and Kevin Jones. Ultra Ford Jones's pit was right there with Troy Digby and them. They had a cool pit. We were just bopping around in and out of there, but I never made it over to Justin Hall's pit. I talked to him on the phone here yesterday. I'm like, dude, I never made it to your pit, but at least I gave you a fist pump right before you took off on the line. And he goes, that was cool. But never, it's crazy.
How many busy.
How many people? Oh, I did. I think it was Wednesday. I was driving the buggy. I had the pass, drove into, the pits, and the SXOR boys were there. So Cole and Sky Johnson. So that was super cool. Stopped and chatted with them and got caught up with them. Obviously, they were working through pre-running and everything. And then I think it was Wednesday night. Was it Wednesday night? Thursday was Was it Thursday qualifying for the for 4,400?
No, Thursday was the side-by-side race.
Well, Thursday was side-by-side race, but then they had, so Wednesday night was the power hour. Wednesday night was power hour for 4,400. Yeah, Wednesday afternoon it was 2 p.m. or whatever. 3 p.m. was power hour. So we were watching that. I had every intention of going out to Chocolate Thunder, but we didn't. But we had the live feed on at camp. So we were watching that in camp, which was so much fun. Being in camp, being able to watch that. And then we could look over to Chocolate Thunder and see the dust and everything in the live action. So that was Wednesday night. I'm trying to think. We did a night run. It must have been Tuesday night.
I don't think, because that was Ultra 3 night.
Oh, no. So it must have been Wednesday night.
I didn't go on the run, so I got nothing.
I think it was Wednesday night. I don't know. Randy texted me, Slauson, and goes, a night run the night before. And I'm like, no, I'm out. I've been drinking. I ain't driving anywhere. And then so the following night, so I think it was Wednesday night, I go night run, and he responds back, fuck. I'm like, all right, is that a yes or a no? I don't know what that is. I said, I'm coming over to your camp. And so I came over to the camp, and Krista, his wife, goes, no night run tonight. We got to go get a new transmission in the morning.
What?
And I'm like, oh, shit. She goes, yeah, no. So no night run. I'm like, okay, I didn't say anything more. And next thing I know, Randy's starting up Gold Digger. And then Kristen looks over, he rolls her eyes and goes, I guess we're going on a night run.
Perfect.
I'm like, okay. So we ended up heading out of there and headed up over to Sledgehammer.
Okay.
And so Sledge is, I love it. You're in this canyon, and it's a fun run. But at night, everything's different. And so, of course, he's hauling ass across the desert. Krista's hauling ass across the desert in her car. And I'm trying to keep up. I got water in the tires trying to keep up. I've got Horton and Big Pete behind me. Well, Pete's got the side-by-side, so he can definitely keep up. But Horton and the Toyota couldn't keep up. And so I'm like, oh, shit. And I forget who was riding with. Oh, Dave Ainsworth was riding with me.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. So it must have been, so the side-by-side race was Thursday.
Yes.
I'm going to say this was Monday night now. I don't know. It's all a blur.
It doesn't matter.
It was before his race.
It happened. We just don't know what day.
We don't know what day. It's irrelevant. So Dave Ainsworth is riding with me, and I'm like, well, I lost them in my mirror, but I'm like, they know where we're going. And we get up there, and then, of course, shift into low, and then, of course, Slossons are gone. I see lights going up the canyon. I'm like, all right, I better go. And then I look, and I don't see anybody behind me. So I'm like, all right. And so I go up, and there's some serious ledges in there, man. It's fun. It's fun. It's scary, but fun. So we make it up to the mailbox, and we all just sit there. It's dark and damn near full moon out. It was beautiful.
That's right. We had
beautiful
early
out
in the week.
Yeah. And nobody's coming up behind us, so they lost them. Can't get them on the radio. But then there's bombs away off to the left, and I go, hey, Randy, that's your line. He goes, yeah, that's my line. Takes Gold Digger right up it.
Wow.
I'm like, what the F? This is like a loose shale hill. And he just freaking takes off. Oh, it's Randy motherfucking Slauson. There he goes.
He has no fear.
No, dude. It's insane. So we're sitting there, and then we ended up taking off from there and back a couple other trails and made it back to camp by like 10:30 or something. So it was an early night, thank God, because some of those night runs, go into 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
night run.
Well, there's activity on that lake bed 24 hours a day during King of the Hammer. So pretty much all the time.
But it's cool being up there. I think we ran up to Upper Jack. And looking down on the valley at night is so cool. You're not as high as Fisher. Fisher's right behind you. But, oh, my God, it's just an incredible view. So, yeah, I made it back to camp. And
campfire.
campfire. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we had some good campfires.
A lot of wood.
A lot of hot campfires.
Yeah. Well, somebody brought in one night. I came into camp and somebody brought in a tree.
That was your neighbor next door, Luke. He brought in a stump.
Yeah, it was like a tree.
It took over the entire. He had a what was that? Toyota, Nissan? What did he have? Some kind of smaller
that was
pickup.
A Ford Explorer.
No. It was a pickup that he had.
Sport Track, the Ford Sport Track with a custom grill on it.
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Remember the old Explorer that had a pickup bed on it?
Is that what he had?
Yeah, that was a Ford Sport
Well,
Track.
I don't know. It took up the whole bed. It was a small truck.
Yeah.
And it took up the stump of this thing. It looked like it was 2,000 pounds.
So he's the one that dragged that thing.
He dragged that in, dumped it off, and lit it on fire. And I go, that's going to be there for the next 3 days.
Yep.
The next morning, it was ash.
It was gone.
So it was so dry. I couldn't believe it.
I walked into camp that night, and I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, this thing stood like 5 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm like.
It was like 5 feet wide.
Yeah.
You know, it was a stump.
Yeah, like I said, I walked.
It was ash by morning. So I came around that. So that was early in the evening when they lit that thing on fire. And I came out around 11 back to camp. It was like 11 something. And the thing was like half its size. And I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And then the next morning,
she
gone.
She gone.
It was ash.
So,
oh God.
So everything we've talked about is just all, other than the trophy truck races, prologue and race that was the previous weekend. We haven't even talked about racing yet.
What? Was there a race going on?
No, you've been wheeling and we've been podcasting and all that stuff and eating apparently nonstop.
A lot of eating, yes.
So, but, then obviously starting on Thursday
was golf cart race.
Golf cart racing, UTVs, all the different classes of UTVs from the stock all the way up to the pro mods.
Yes.
And these things, they've gotten so fast and so modified and so capable over the years that it's not my thing. I don't particularly spend much time watching that race. I don't even go to the start finish line for that.
Right.
But you hear them and you obviously kind of keep an eye on what's happening. Yeah, I mean, so Thursday was UTV racing, and I think they had a cutoff time on that for 4 p.m. I think was
no, 6.
6 p.m. was
6 p.m.
Track went dead.
Yeah,
track went dark. But I mean they finished the track fast.
They did. They were hauling
hauling the mail,
and they had 2 laps as opposed to the 3 for the 4,400. But yeah, they were hauling the mail, and that race ended like at 3:00 or something, or for the finisher. It was early. No, it was like 12.
I think it was like
12:45. It was stupid. It was stupid how early that first car came in. But yeah. The golf carts definitely have come a long ways. Yeah. So that was Thursday. We had bulgogi. Was that bulgogi? Oh no. So yeah, Wednesday night was our Japanese curry by Power Tank.
Right.
Steven Tyler.
I
love to call him Steven Tyler, like Aerosmith.
Right.
No.
On an elevator.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. There you go. So they did Japanese curry, and then Thursday night was the bulgogi night.
Okay, with Lee Lim
and Tony and the boys helped out there. I think Nick helped out. And then Friday we had tri-tip taco night, and that was Austin from Irate, Jen, Tyler, Morflate Sean, all helped out with that. Johnny brought a bunch of food into camp, the tri-tips, and Rodney, actually, JL Latte Rodney, I had him on marinating the tri-tip that morning. I gave him a bunch of seasoning and stuff. He rubbed the meat. So good job on rubbing the meat out there on Friday morning, Rodney. Shout out to JL. So if you ever need your meat rubbed, call Rodney at
1-800 rub your meat.
JL Latte machine. Oh boy. So so that was Thursday night. Margarita machine came out, air powered margarita machine by the Power Tank, and Lee Lim had
making the whatever those were.
It was some sort of
orange Julius.
Yeah, it was a margarita-esque drink.
Sweet. Sweet.
That was fun. And then Friday was EMC day. So huge day in our camp because we had Max Climax with the diesel Ruxor.
That's right.
In our camp. Of course, we had Amber, who everybody was cheering for in our camp.
Car number 468.
Yeah, the Samurai, Amber the Hammer. And then we had the Rock Dog team that unfortunately didn't make it to the line.
Nope.
John and Art. Boy, I felt so bad because John poured his heart and soul into this car for the last 2 years.
Yep.
And they got it to the lake bed, dialed in, and then it just, I don't know, they were having fuel pump problems, and oh my gosh, it was a sad deal. Yep. But and then we had Evolve Racing in our camp, Keith and Melissa.
The Test 10.
The Test 10. So that was cool. We got to do that on Thursday, right? We got to go, because that was the day before their race. We went to Dave Cole's compound, the ranch.
Right.
With Will Speck. Will and Ralphie.
Will and Ralphie.
And don't ever serve Will an espresso drink.
In the morning.
Yeah, in the morning. Thank you, J.L. Rodney. That was like crack cocaine for him because he's so wired, and then he got that espresso
I was a
shot.
little worried. I was waiting for his heart to shoot out of his chest.
I know. I'm like, holy crap, Will, calm down.
Got it.
Oh, my God. He's like, what did you serve me?
He was vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we got to see Dave Cole's compound.
So what'd you think of that?
Pretty badass.
It's a barn dominium on high.
It's just a barn.
It's a barn dominium.
With a little bit of an office and.
What do you mean a little bit of an office?
It's
badass.
It's badass.
It's got this big wide open shop. And then you got this
square feet
mezzanine where you got rooms upstairs, a conference room.
Right.
You got bedrooms, and then you got downstairs is a kitchen and a bar and bathrooms, and everything was clean and nice and tidy. And I was like,
biggest fan I've ever seen, biggest ceiling fan. I've ever seen.
The big ass fan.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's the big ass fan.
Well, it is a big ass.
It's a big ass fan. Pool table.
They had a driving simulator.
Yeah, they did. They had the golf machine. Did you see the golf video? Yeah, there was a golf video game, First Tee or whatever it's called.
No shit, I didn't see that. Huh. Big screen TVs.
Oh yeah, so they had the couches and this of course streaming live the race, the UTV
the biggest
race.
Man cave ever.
It's a badass man cave out in the middle of the desert, and then the helicopters flying in and out. That was super cool. I got to talk to one of the chopper pilots. It was a black, like super stealthy chopper, and he fired that thing off. They were fueling it up. I got to talk to the camera guy and the pilot. Pilot's just chill, wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and just like, yeah, I'm gonna fly this thing, and then the camera guy's like video game operator to operate that big ass camera. But dude, he fired that thing off. It was like a big block Chevy, man. It sounded like a 454. The way it fired off.
Really?
And then they engaged. Yeah, then they engaged. No, and then they engaged the rotors, and I'm like, damn, that thing sounds badass.
Wow,
of course, the turbine ones were the bigger choppers were over there, but this was like a small little. I don't know what was going on, but it was a badass chopper.
Well, it wasn't a 454.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't a 54, but it sounded
sort of
like
lightweight
it.
aluminum engine or something.
Sounded like it.
That's cool. I thought all helicopters nowadays were turbines.
I don't know. It didn't. I didn't hear no spooling up of a turbine. It was freaking. There was some combustion going on there.
Cool.
Okay. But anyways, it was cool to see that operation. And then we met Eric Amato.
From
Radial Dynamics.
Radial Dynamics, right?
Yeah,
right.
so that was cool. And his tech guy. So they had that, electric pump to operate the power steering in the Test 10. And so he was giving me all the details on that. And a wealth of information there. We got to have him on the podcast.
Of course, it's
super cool. But yeah, just I stayed out of their way. The computers, laptops were hooked up. They were, whatever ones and zeros, whatever was going on, it was way above my head. I was looking at the mechanical aspect, and that truck is super clean. Keith did a great job on it. So back to the start line. We're out on the start line watching everybody line up in Hammertown, fist pumping, get out on the track. They all take off. And then, of course, we went back to camp and followed them on the live stream,
right,
on the TV. And so Tyler was doing radio communications for Amber in our camp. And then I was in charge of her IG account.
Took it over.
Yeah, so I did the IG takeover. So I was doing all kinds of posts. And then Dolly, her mom, I come off the start line and come back to camp, and I tried posting at the media tent.
Right.
Because I had a morning video and a couple other shots of Amber taking off the start line, and I had no internet. I couldn't post it there. So I'm like, all right. I run back to camp, and Dolly's all, you haven't posted anything yet, Mom's scolding me.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I have, but it hasn't posted. Look. And then as soon as I got back to camp and got on the Starlink there, then everything uploaded, and then we were off and running.
Cool.
So I pretty much stayed in camp the rest of the day till Amber crossed the line.
You were sitting in the tent with your recliner.
I had my recliner in there. We had the TVs going. We had the big speaker so we could hear everything. And Tyler, and then some guy ran into our camp. I guess he camped there that night. I don't know who
the
he
guy
knew.
with that fucking bug.
Yeah, the Volkswagen Bug with zero exhaust, and he's sitting there idling and revving the engine, and Tyler's like trying to listen to comms, and he's like, dude, I can't hear anything because of this Volkswagen coming in. I go, I went into full Chris mode.
Oh boy.
I'm like, get off my lawn. So I ran out there and go talk to the guy. I was nice. I'm like, dude, we're running a race today, and we can't hear the comms right now. You need to shut this thing off or get out of camp. I don't care. Just get out and just make this thing stop.
Just make it stop.
All four cylinders.
Right.
And so he shuts, I'm sorry, and shuts it off. And then, a couple hours later, he fires it up again and it drives out of camp. But I'm like, okay.
I know. I ended up having to help the guy. He came back to camp later.
To push start him or
well, no, his reverse was broken in his transmission, so I had to help him push it back so he could line up to drive it up on his trailer. And I'm like, Jesus, dude, whatever. Yeah, and he's like, rah, you hear, rah, rah. If you can't find him, grind him.
Right.
So,
but yeah, so that was cool. Oh my gosh. So great day. It was a long day.
Every day was a long day.
Mentally though, it was super cool. Just cheering for all the people, and Amber, and, she's like, let, Ian Johnson know and Miles that we're completing this course.
Yeah.
Even if we're out of time, we're coming across the finish line. We're going to do the entire course. And so I texted them and said, hey, Amber's doing the whole course. Just heads up. And she was hitting the marks. I mean, doing well.
Yeah.
Right. And then unfortunately, traffic and everything ran out of time. But she finished the race, and this was her first year finishing the race after 3 tries. And freaking awesome. Our camp was electric. Everybody going down to the stage. It was super cool. One of my highlights of KOH was watching that happen in person.
Absolutely.
And proud moment for her and the whole team there, the Two Stone Racing team.
Hannah
family, yeah, and all the friends and people that helped out in the pits. And I mean, it's just very, very cool. And you're
super emotional.
You're against all odds racing a Samurai to begin with, but she's proven it over and over again that we're going to make this thing happen, and she did. And so hats off to Amber Turner and the Suzuki Samurai. Amber the Hammer made it across, unfortunately not within time, but completed the entire course.
The race course.
And minimal, issues mechanically.
Yeah. Right.
So
she wheeled that thing for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
I mean,
she
just came home like 2 days ago. She stayed down there and kept on wheeling.
So Tom was her right seat, Lou, in the desert section, and then her brother Stuart was in the rock section. So
that's right.
Anyways, that was fun to see that. So I don't know. We went to bed at like 1 a.m. that morning, celebrating around the fire and stuff. That was that was
a late night.
Fun night, Friday night, and then of course Saturday morning. Get up early because 7 a.m. we got to hit Hammertown and everybody, all the 4,400 cars.
Big dogs. Let the big dogs bark.
Ooh, man.
Let
So
the dogs out. Ooh.
and Chris isn't drinking this evening. Wow.
No, I love the 4,400 unlimited class. That's where the real shit happens,
Right.
man.
And so we went out and walked through the vendor area, where they're lining up and warming up their diffs and everything.
Oh,
so
the heaters were going.
The heaters were going. So like Randy had Mr. Buddy heaters on the front and rear diff. Yeah. And then Stuart hops in with this hand torch and like heating up the bottom of the diffs. And I mean, yeah, you're trying to get that 250 weight freaking molasses, get it somewhat liquid form before you hit the start line.
And it wasn't, I mean, it was chilly, but it wasn't the coldest morning
It
yet.
wasn't. So that was interesting because Friday morning was super chilly. I pop out of my camper and I'm like, ooh, I'm underdressed. And I had to go and grab another jacket. Mm-hmm. So Saturday morning, I come out with thermals and a freaking, ski jacket. And I'm like, it's not that cold. Take off the ski jacket, put on a lighter jacket.
That's the night that I had the furnace set at 55 and it never turned on.
Oh, see, that's good. Yeah.
At least I don't think it ever turned on.
I don't know.
I was asleep.
Didn't hear it. But yeah, so we get out there and I got to post. I got so many videos and pictures and stuff I need to post. Lorenzo, get on that.
Dude, it was so funny because earlier today I was at work doing some paperwork in my office, and I had the beginning of the Ultra 4 Saturday 4,400 race playing on YouTube.
Okay.
And the camera was sitting there just below, near the Nitto tire from the stage looking out. Uh-huh. And I saw you.
You saw me
you
running around with my DJI?
You're fist pumping people, and I'm like, that's Jason.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I've said it before many times on the podcast. That's my favorite part of the race is getting to get up close with the drivers and stuff. And I got to post the Levi Shirley video. It'll be posted by the time this airs, of talking with him. And I went up to him and I'm like, hey, good luck, guys. And I'm not going to be out there to winch you out at Thor's Hammers. So, pick a better line and shit, giving him shit. And then I said, hey, man, that's cool that you let them use Loretta, the Campbells.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and he's super cool. One of the nicest guys in Ultra 4. So that was fun. And then, of course, hanging out with the Wicks, Justin and Chris, them getting ready, the Rufus team and just walking down. And then we saw Berger, went all the way up to the front of the pack, and there's Paul Wolf and Berger that started side by side. And so saw them in Hammertown before they took Shearer. Yeah, Berger and Shearer. So, yeah. Just cool. And then getting out onto the short course and being able to
watch it start.
Yeah, watch the start and video. Cole and Sky Johnson, so it was cool because I kept bouncing back and forth went through all the cars, then went out to the short courses as the leaders started heading out there. Paul and Jason Shearer off the line and watched a few of those pairs of cars go off, and then came back into the line and get to see some of the other drivers and the Campbells and
Gomez's.
The Gomez's, and then Shannon was right there, and I'm like, hey man. So it's super cool to just be up close and personal with those guys right before the race. And then so I was bouncing back and forth. I mean, it was go and then Miles is out there on the mic and giving a thumbs up to everybody as they're passing him, getting lined up. So then the race starts. Last cars off the line. EV was one, like third or fourth to last. Test 10.
Oh no!
Yeah,
not during the 4,400.
Oh well. Oh yeah, you're right. who was towards the end there that I was rooting for? They had a bad situation, and it put them at the end of the
Cole. Or no, I don't remember now. Towards the end, it was
who was at the end?
Bailey Campbell was towards the end.
Well, they were. So Bailey
you're talking
started
about Miller, Eric Miller.
Yeah, Miller was back there.
That's a tragic
there was a
story,
few.
but
That
thankfully
was
not as bad as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
So anyways, so I went over to Rufus's pit, and that's where. So obviously, the Rufus team, Wicks was pitting there, and then Slauson.
Right.
So all our key players were right there in one pit, which was cool. So I said, hey, I'm running back to camp. I'm going to grab breakfast and a shower, and then I'm going to head back to watch them come into main pit.
Okay.
So I go back to camp, have breakfast. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, I got time. Take a shower. I come out of the shower, open up my camper door, get dressed, open up the camper door to the, we're right there by coming into the short course.
Yeah.
Right above Hammertown Heights. And here comes Raul Gomez. Jason Shearer. I'm like, holy shit, how are they done with the first lap so soon?
Quick. They were banging it.
Oh, my God. So I'm like, oh, my God, I got to get back down to Hammertown. Yeah. So I go booking it back down to Hammertown. Obviously, Shearer and Raul were gone. And then here comes Slauson. So I got to see him pit, main pit for first lap. And car was good. Everything, was looking good there. But yeah, it was crazy how fast the race was going by.
Oh, it was the desert lap is fast lap.
Oh, man. My gosh.
And of course, Turkey Claw's the very end of that, and that's nothing to those guys.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They drove through Turkey Claw probably at 40 miles an hour.
So I watched a few more people pit and then went back to camp and watched it on the live feed, and then, back to Maine to watch them come back in, and then back to camp. And then, it's like, okay, race is finishing up here, leaders on the last final, 10 miles. Quick. I'm like, what is going on? Then you watch that battle between Raul and Shearer at the end, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. So got to see them come into Hammertown and cross the finish line, and
Shearer physically first, but time second.
Was he physically first?
He crossed the line physically
Did
first.
He? Okay.
And then Raul came in like 40 seconds later.
Okay.
Physically second, but obviously the results.
Yeah, the time differential there.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was cool. So hung out there at the stage and talking with drivers and people and pits and everything that just all encompassing the race and
the energy.
Oh my God, it was electric. It was so cool and
insane.
Yeah. And it was cool. So one little story here. So Randy's there, got his car is like in great shape other than the upper link mount that broke, unfortunately.
Yep.
And so the kids are coming up and, getting their hats signed and stuff. And then one kid comes, can I get a body panel? And Randy's looking at his car like, all my body panels are good, kid. I can't, it looks good. It's like, no, I can't give, I'm not sponsored like Shannon Campbell here where I could just start giving away body panels.
Not this year, kid.
So it was funny. And then another kid came up and then, it was funny. Can I get, the other kids are walking away with full body panels of cars. I'm like, shit.
Wow.
This is crazy.
Well, that is crazy. Hey, wasn't it you that told me that Shearer crossed the finish line with only 5 cylinders?
Well, no, there was 3 cylinders that weren't working. So, yeah 5 cylinders minus 3, it would be 8. Yes, you're right.
So, yeah,
look at that quick egg math.
That's part of his issue. He's a little underpowered.
Yeah, he was very underpowered at the end, and they were fouled plugged. Something, I don't know what the exact issue was, but there was something wrong towards the end of the race where they weren't full power coming across the line for sure.
Yeah, considering how Raul was hammering so hard coming into the short course, what'd you say? His foot was planted.
Oh, it just the ground shook. I mean, it's so cool. And Raul before the race was so cool because he's just like a kid on Christmas morning. I mean, the excitement, you got some drivers that are just laser focused and like, obviously nervous. Everybody's nervous, but it's like the level of nervousness, right? And he was so calm, cool, just like, hey, I'm out here having a good time, and he did, and he slayed it, and but other drivers are just like freaking, you go to give them a fist pump and you get a little fist pump out of them and like, okay, but they're just, you get it. I don't know how I would be on the line. I'd be somewhere in between of like excited.
Me,
no, I'd be somewhere in between. But Shannon, Raul, I mean, some of these guys, it's just like, no big deal.
They get it. They're here to have fun and they're, obviously they want to win, but they're having fun doing it. So, but yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that was the race that night,
Party time.
Saturday night, and it was windy and cold. It got nasty, that afternoon, the wind blowing and dust.
That's when it started to get to me.
And then that night, and then I was just exhausted from all week, just go.
I think you were done by 9.
I did. I had to go into my camper and just chill. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to do anything. I just sat in my camper and watched the fireworks out the window.
There were a lot of fireworks.
There was a ridiculous fireworks show Saturday night that would rival Disneyland. I mean, it was so good, and it went on for a good 10 plus minutes.
Oh, easily.
And big fireworks. I mean, we're not talking little stuff. This is big professional fireworks. And one of the guys from our camp went over to their camp to see what was going on because it was near ours. And this is all Mexico, by the way. So, it was all legal. So he went over
Lorenzo's nodding.
Went over to the camp, and they had a flatbed, flatbed trailer that had all the mortar tubes on it. So these guys, this wasn't amateur hour; they were PR professionals, and it was a freaking great show. So I kind of nodded off for about maybe an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and then I woke up because I wanted to see Chase Beckham.
That was
so that was Saturday night.
Yeah.
So he was the lead singer that night. There was a few bands before him, and he started at like 10 o'clock. So I ran over to Hammertown. It was cold. Oh my gosh. And still some wind. But I put on my heated jacket and beanie, and I ran over to Hammertown and watched him for a while, and it was just crazy there. I mean, it's just huge.
Yeah, no, I saw pictures.
Yeah. So then I'm like, okay. I ran into a few people, and I'm like, okay. And the fire pit, a lot of people were at the fire pit trying to stay warm and listen to the concert. It was a cool vibe. I mean, I got to admit, it's a cool scene down there with the concert going on. So I came back to camp, and there was a few people at our campfire, but most of the camp was kind of just scattered and didn't see many people. So then I went up on the roof of my camper, and he did his 23 song, which is one of his more popular songs now, one of my favorite songs from him. And so I watched that from the top of my camper.
Cool.
And more fireworks going off and stuff. And then I'm like, all right, it was getting to be about almost midnight. And I'm like, I'm out.
I'm out.
I crawled back into the camper, and good night.
And if you want to hear about the rest of the trip, go back to the beginning of this episode.
That's pretty much it. I did go wheeling. I did go wheeling on Sunday because Derek was there from a Total Off-Road podcast from Chicago, our transplant.
That's right.
So we had him on the podcast here a little while back and encouraged him to go to KOH. So he came out Friday afternoon, camped with us, and went and did some wheeling. And Saturday, I'm not sure what he did Saturday, but then I'm like, So Sunday he goes, hey, you want to go out? And I'm like, yeah, let's go do some wheeling. I packed up most of the stuff. We cleaned up main tent, and
our camp had emptied out quite
a lot of people left.
I mean, a lot. We were like the lone wolves up at the top there.
Yeah. So Sunday midday ish, it was pretty empty. There was maybe a dozen or so campers left, and. So we took him over to Chocolate Thunder. He made it up Chocolate Thunder, and
saw that.
Tony Pellegrino was over there in the Terremoto Jeep, and so I talked to him for a minute, and then he was going up and down Chocolate Thunder, and he's like, "Hey, you gonna get that Chevy up this thing, Derek's?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we'll get it up." And sure enough, we did. And there was a crowd there. I mean, not like it's been in the past, but there was, 40 people or so, I'd say, hanging out.
Back it.
Yeah, so he made it up, and then we went over he wanted to go try Jack. So we go over to Jackhammer, and there's a great rock crawling section off to the right at the beginning, and where he was from, there wasn't a lot of rock trails like that. So he made it through there, and he goes, "Man, that's awesome." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of welcome to California wheeling, That's what we do." And then there was, oh my gosh, 5-6 rigs kind of just taking their time up Jack through the plaque line and stuff, and he walked it and looked at it, and then he goes, "Man, I don't know if I'm gonna hit my door here." And I'm like, "Yeah, there's definitely some chance for body damage." And then they were taking so long. I go, "Hey, let's go turn around. Let's head back down. We'll go over to Sledge or something." He goes, "Yeah, that sounds good." So we turned around, went over to Sledge, and nobody over there, and started up Sledge, and I took him through the sandy, rocky section, and then he got a little hung up on the diffs there and the sand and rocks. So winched him out of there, and then said, "Okay, let's go around." So he went around that, and then the first waterfall, and then he just kept rear diffing out. And unfortunately, because of wheelbase and clearance, I'm like, "Dude, it's like 4:40 right now, 4:50. It was almost 5:00.
Yep.
Sun's going down. We got a lot of trail left. I think we need to turn around because it's going to be a long night out here if we try and get you
and
up.
I needed to record.
Well, that was it. And then so...
And eat dinner.
Yeah, and eat dinner, and I'm like, "Dude, I've played this game too many times." And he's like, "Yeah, good call." I go, "But let's walk up to the mailbox just so you can see it," because he'd never been up there before. So we walked up, and he's looking at the obstacles, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, this is serious shit. This is not, it's torn up, and this is a race." The day after the race.
Day after 3 races.
Day after 3 races, but on those rocks, the 4,400 cars. And the trenches. So we ran up Chocolate Thunder and ran the, first part of the qualifying course. And the trenches that were dug in, I mean, my 43-inch tall tires, right? And I've got 21, 22 inches of belly clearance on my buggy, and I was dragging ass.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were just trenches, man. And I was like, holy hell. And so we had fun in that. And I'm like, yeah, this is where, Paul Wolf caught air and Shannon Campbell. And, you could just, it was cool to rewatch that and see, be there the day after the main race. And then, so obviously in Sledge, and you could see just the carnage and parts and broken winch lines and everything. Oh
yeah,
catheters.
Oh god,
catheters were. We must have.
I don't need that anymore.
Yeah, we must have seen 6. Well, they step on them probably when they're getting out to winch.
Oh right,
and so.
Ow!
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh my gosh. It's like I pick up cans and stuff on the trail and garbage, but I ain't picking up no catheter. I'm sorry.
No, that's a whole that's
sorry.
That's
I don't have my surgical gloves with me. So but anyway, so we turned around and headed back down, and then he's like, "Hey, these are my friends camped down here just below Jack and Sledge, kind of out before you get to the lakebed." And so we pull up to their camp, and I'm handing out stickers and stuff, and the guy's all, "Will, want a whiskey?" oh, Kevin Jones, what's your Fort Jones? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm his neighbor. And I'm like, oh, no shit. And then I met another guy that has a winery in Paso Robles. And anyway, it's a small world, right?
Oh,
and so
yeah,
we just sat there
sure.
BSing and had a good time. And then by that time, it was damn near dark. And they said, oh, we're going to head over to Back door. And I'm like, I'm out. I'm not going over there. That nothing good happens over at Back Door at night.
No, nothing.
So I said, I'm heading back to camp. I got to get the buggy on the trailer. I still have some packing to do. We got to eat. We got to record. So, yeah, made it back to camp, and we had a nice dinner.
Yeah,
and recorded our bumpers and stuff, and got the that was the Bronson, Jess, and Wicks episode, right?
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
so we bumped that, and
197.
that was the one that came out here. So, yeah, and then we headed home Monday morning, 6 a.m. We left the lakebed with rain, a little bit of wind, not bad.
But an easy drive.
And an easy drive. Once we got to the pavement, it wasn't raining anymore. And yeah, just cruised home.
And here we are now. In the home
you weren't
studio.
feeling so good.
No,
so
I was struggling a little bit. I mean, the drive itself was easy, but I was, just tired and stuffy and kept blowing my nose and, felt like I was losing control of the truck because I'd be trying to steer the truck with my knee while I'm blowing my nose. But got home fine and
hashtag Dodge thing.
Slowly unpacking the camper. And this weekend I'll get it unloaded and back to normal.
Yeah, same here. I'm still cleaning, man. It was, I had to do some house maintenance, and then it's like, okay, cleaning. I don't know. I've done like 7 loads of laundry.
Perfect.
It's crazy. Oh my God. But we stopped at Harris Ranch on the way home and had a nice barbecue.
Brisket sando.
Brisket sando.
Cheddar cheese and brisket.
Yeah, that was good.
Regular sweet barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. And then, you took off from there to Livermore, and Jack and I headed back to San Ho. And here we are, back home, post KOH Blues.
PPB. Post-party blues.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yep. Anyway, there's a lot more to talk about. We really just kind of glossed over it. Honestly, don't rely on us.
Don't listen to us.
Don't rely on us to tell you all about KOH. You really need, if you haven't been there, you really need to
experience it.
Go down there and experience it yourself. You really do. It's unlike anything you could ever imagine. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. I don't know what the final gate numbers were, but there were easily over 100,000 people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Oh, I was looking through my notes here. So the other thing, Austin from iRate 4x4 has the Unimog.
Yeah.
Remember? And then we were, I don't know, him and Jen, his wife, and all of us were just chatting. And then we came up with Unihog. Hashtag Unihog.
Well, we were talking about names of what you would name trails.
Right. That's going to be a whole nother episode.
Well, that's a tease, but yeah, if you break a trail at Johnson Valley, you get to name it. And we kind of were sitting there. We had been drinking a little bit, and we started. We could call it anal this or something, whatever.
And then the Unihog came out. Unihog. If he broke a trail in the Unimog, and call it the Unihog. That's awesome. Yeah. I don't know. I had that in my notes. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Strange shit comes up all the time.
Oh, so good.
So anyway, boy, we've run a long time. We're closing on 2 hours, so I say we put a bow on this. And
you want to roll dice in the yard?
Roll dice in the yard.
Yeah, like Jimmy.
I don't know. I haven't heard that.
No, you. So from the shit show episode, he goes, oh, yeah, it's like rolling dice in the yard. And then, wait, you don't even remember that right now.
That.
Oh, my God, yeah. So we called him out on that and then, put a bow on this pig. And
put lipstick on this pig.
Yeah, no, there you go. So it's all these analogies. I love them.
Perfect.
But anyway, so yeah, let's roll some dice in the yard.
Roll some dice in the yard. Right on.
Right, Lorenzo?
Right.
Did we miss anything, Lorenzo?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, we missed some stuff. But you know what? That's for the After Hours podcast there.
Wheeling Wine Whiskey After Dark.
Well, Chris, how do they get a hold of us?
Well, there's several ways. One way is to email us, Chris or Jason at wheelingwinewhiskey.com. You can also DM Jason at our Instagram, which is at Wheeling Wine Whiskey. You can also send or call us and leave a voice message at our number, which is 408-800-5169.
We forgot to play the voicemail. We got to play the voicemail. We got to play the voicemail.
All right.
Let me go back. This is a little. Here we go.
I know.
Got to play this. There's actually two, but it's the first one's short. Okay, let's make sure this is right. It is, and here we go.
Hey, fellas, it's me again, Christopher Walken, like the walk-in cooler, but cooler. Anyway, just want to let you know some sad news. Terrible. Blah.
All right, he calls back.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. Here we go. Christopher Walken.
I love stroked out or something.
I love this. Here we go.
Hey, sorry, I had to call back. I swallowed a bug. What these bugs are doing, I don't know. I was attacked. Really not pleasant experience. Anyway, sad news on the King of the Hammers front. I won't be going this year. You won't see me out there in the desert, all the powdery sand, basking in the glow of the California sunshine. It's terrible, I know, but there's good news. The reason I'm not going, Lorenzo, you know what you did, and I love you for it. Really? You see, I have a new movie I'm working on. This movie is crazy. I can't give away too much, really, but let's just say it's going to be a hit. The basic plot is that I'm a mule running mules for a mule running cartel. And, we're transporting these Lorenzo-esque figurines across the desert. Actually, they're real donkeys, mules even. And I fall in love with, the cartel leader's daughter. We got to get it on. So I'll be somewhere in another desert, getting it on, filming it even. Crazy lights, sounds, probably a Hawaiian shirt, maybe some sunglasses, I'm not sure. But anyway, you'll miss me in your desert. I won't be there. I wish I could. I love that waterfall area. I especially love the back door, if you know what I'm saying. Sometimes you don't, though, because, podcasts. But anyway, hopefully there are some other celebrities you'll be able to link up with out there, race car drivers and such. Have a good one, fellas.
That's awesome.
That's it?
That's so good. Christopher Walken calling in again.
Christopher Walken.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, you too. If your name is Christopher Walken, you can also call at 408.
Or if it's Chris.
800-5169. Man, you never know who's going to call.
You never know. So that's a good one. Yes, we missed you out at KOH, Christopher Walken. And hopefully we'll catch you next year. KOH 2024 or maybe Trail Hero 2023. He's been known to show up out there. So
absolutely.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. With that, I think let's put a bow on this thing. Let's roll some dice in the yard, Chris. And with that,
we're out.